flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We do a roll call. Therese Granger present.
Ron Severino present.
Gail Lamb present.
Zim Paget present.
Here.
Russell Meeks present. All right, and I just want to make an announcement, if everyone can turn off their cell phones during the meeting so we don't disrupt. If anybody has any comments they'd like to make, we have the comment cards to fill out, and I'd like to remind everyone to please watch your language, be respectful of others, and make your comments relevant to the town hall business. So the first thing we're going to start with is our old business with the water filters and the pumps.
Yeah, I've noticed that we don't have the audio recorder here for this meeting. I thought meetings were supposed to be recorded, audio recording.
You don't have to record them.
Oh, okay.
No, you don't. You can erase them afterwards. They're just used to transcribe for the minutes.
No, I don't think that's accurate.
Yes, sir, it is.
It is.
We're not doing anything that we haven't backed up research with.
Yeah, but the minutes don't always reflect what took place in the meeting. We've seen that many times.
Right.
So I thought it was a requirement to have audio recorded. In fact, I'm pretty sure.
No, sir. But, I mean, you're more than welcome when you get home, you need to tell us where, because what we're researching says, no, it's not. So, Don, we don't do anything in this office that we don't research before we come to the table with you guys.
And you researched that?
Yes, we
And
have.
you found out we don't have to have
Exactly.
audio recording?
Yes, just like, yep, you sure have.
Well, why have we been having them for years and years
But
and
if you
years?
have them, where are they?
They
Pardon?
used them for
Where are they?
dictation.
They used to be on that little machine.
Yeah,
back
she
there.
used it for dictation so that she could type up the minutes, but you're not required to keep that recording once you've typed up the minutes.
Well, that just doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, that's
But if you
your,
find something, please enlighten us. I
Yeah.
always say, if there's anything
Yeah.
anybody finds about anything,
Yeah.
let us know, for
Yeah,
sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it was a requirement somewhere, it was a requirement for here, I know that. That's why we did it for so long, that's why we spent the money for that dictation machine. Before, we were using regular cassettes, and then we figured, well, we might as well upgrade a bit, and we spent quite a bit of money for the software and the hardware equipment. And I just seems that way it would prevent any arguments that can't be backed up by something.
I'm sure there's enough videos out there in the internet world about the meeting in its entirety. So there's,
Work in-house and not rely on.
I'm just
on the
saying they're out
public.
there.
Okay, we'll check into that.
Sure. And please let me know. I'm always open to, if I'm doing something wrong, let me know. Okay?
I'm sure that's what, greatest, get it?
Yep. Get in.
We got, Florida Rural Water Management has, sent their letter. Carl Sterling has responded back about the iron filters, and that he recommends it, and he strongly suggests that we move forward with it, and he thinks he can possibly make it all part of the same permit that we've had already on the table that wasn't closed. But they're gonna try to close that out with an amendment showing the iron and the resolution of it. And just by the way, Fort White is doing the same thing, or has done the same system already. So they've already been working with this process and doing it, and understood it very well when we put it on the table for them to look at. Lonnie Purnell has agreed also about the system and what its value is, and that he, as long as we go through DEP, he recommends that we move forward on it as well. And that's the water guy, that's the water management. DEP
Are
is.
you talking about the new filters?
Yes.
Didn't we just put filters in less than a year ago or a year ago?
Those filters are in, but they weren't complete filters for everything. It was just a little spot of the problem with water.
I don't know, the salesman told us that was gonna do wonders, just like this salesman, I want us again, that was gonna do wonders.
I'm not going to, the man didn't mislead you when he was, but he was
I'm
only.
not saying I'm misleading, I'm just.
He was correct in what he said, and it will, as soon as we can get it back online again. The problem is, we haven't been able to keep it online, and then, but it only, let's say, this was the water for the town, all right? His filter system is only taking care of this portion of it, not this portion. This new system takes care of the whole deal, makes it all up to date and functional, and brings it up to a self-contained, manageable.
This seems like water, once it goes through the system, it's all gonna be filtered, not half of it's gonna be filtered. I just can't comprehend that little
Again,
illustration.
all right, again, this is the whole thing of all the filter systems that we have over there. His system only is this part of it. This part, we've been relying on the old system that's been there since 1963, 64 actually, sorry.
You're talking about the sand filter?
The sand and the iron extraction, yes.
And then, what about the filters we had
That was,
most recently?
it's referred to as a polish. This is polishing our water.
Polishing.
Is polishing the water we have. It's not fully functioning filtering it. It's only polishing what we have, using our system that we have in place, which is failing us over and over and over.
So we were misled.
I don't know, I wasn't there when that was presented. All right, so that brings us to the, looking for the certification from the DEP, Water Management, and from Lonnie Purnell. All those are there in that package of stuff that you have there on the table. The filter system itself, which we went through last month, or last meeting, sorry, it's about $13,000 in materials, and then there's another $3,000 to $5,000 that we got to spend on the water pressure control side of it, so we can get everything back and maintain the pressure of the pumps so they don't blow themselves up and burn themselves up. And on that, and then there's somewhere different, according to what steps have to be taken. The numbers are varying, $3,000 to $5,000 for the plumbers to install them. By using our current well as our pumps, we no longer need the high pressure pumps that we put in place that are burnt up. We don't need them anymore by doing this. And those need to be repaired and then put back out on the market for sale. Both of these companies have a market out there of selling these pumps and access to people's needs. They will have a better chance of selling them than we will, and try to recoup some of the money back that we've already have spent. But right now, there's well more than this is already spent over there in the water plant, trying to maintain the system that's there, and it's constantly failing us.
So that money that we get back from these pumps we're gonna sell, we could apply that to the budget?
Yeah. We can go whatever council decides for it to go. And it's just like the budget here, sitting right here tonight. These are discussions between all of us, and we all come to an answer and move forward on it. And I expect the pumps are just under 5,000 a piece new. Them being rebuilt, they're probably going to bring about 4,000, 3,500 a piece. So there's $7,000, $8,000 in return of the money that's already been spent.
Don, we'll do some more research before we commit it to the general fund, because we may have to take it and put it back into the water fund.
Yeah.
Because of the
Probably where
fact.
it should go.
That's probably where it
Yeah,
came from.
yeah, because that's where it came from, and we have to see if we sell them, because they came from a grant. Do we have to give it back to the state, or are we gonna be able to put it in? So we'll do some more checking and research to make sure that we can do this, as far as selling them and getting where we can put the money.
So it's gonna make the water good, and if we get another filtration system, will it make the water better?
It's going, yes, it's going to make, it's going to be more purified, the water's going to be more purified through both of these systems, yes. And it's got, the longevity of the chemical, the resinations that they're using inside the tanks will last about 3 to 5 years. Some a little bit more than other, according to which one deteriorates first. But, you know, we're expecting between 3 and 5 years before we have to replace these things. And they're going to be about $3,000 for the one setup and about $2,000 for the other setup. And it's, so that's about $1,000 a year. And we spend more than that right now on these other chemicals that we're using. So our cost factors, monthly operating expenses are
Do
going
you
to.
know chlorine?
Chlorine, we have to put chlorine, we require by law to put chlorine. But all these other chemicals that we're putting in, just to try to kill the bacteria that's in the water, those all get to go away. And,
Which will save us some money there too.
right, those are very expensive, and they're very toxic. And the water breaks them down to a level of consumption, consumable, but it's still, it's nice not to have them. Any questions?
Florida Rural Water is on board with this?
Yes.
Absolutely.
They're okay with it?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, yep.
I see it, but it's,
Yep.
I don't see what he actually says. It's a good idea.
The, Carl is, there is an email from him, this is it here, I think, Mr. Pettis. It says, Mr. President,
That's in the email where they say they're doing that in Fort White.
okay,
Yeah.
And they've permitted that media before.
right, and then there's.
And then they say, see the write-up for Cadillac's Light. So they've already implemented it there, so I would have to say they agree.
He's all, I thought it was in this same letter here, but it might be on a different email he sent.
Yeah, well, here's the, if you flip a couple pages, there's a listing of the Cadillac's Light media advantages, and that's what
Right.
Sterling Carroll is referencing in the email.
Right, and he was, maybe it was the phone conversation, he said he was all for it. But
But clearly by the
Yeah.
email.
he is going to try to get that in with the other permits, so there won't be another fee on the permit or the $2,500 contribution or anything like that. So that's all been kind of putting all into one category. I believe that fee had already been paid last year.
Do we apply for the permit, or does the company apply for the permit?
DEP is saying Florida Rural Water will be the one that does it. And they're saying that they're going to amend it to the current permit, which now is in place because it's been signed and activated.
Swanee River Water Management District, are they the ones that kind of overseeing this?
It's going to be the DEP.
The Florida Rural Water Association writes it all up, they send it to us, we go through it and sign it, and then we send it to DEP.
So they endorse it also?
Also.
Correct.
Yep, and we've already talked to them, so they amended it, FedExed it to us, we signed, kept a copy, and sent it all back to them. Because we have to do the permit so we don't lose it, whether we go forward with this process or not, our permit's in the works. So we didn't lose it.
So the permit has to be granted before we can.
Right, well, they already amended it and emailed it to us so we could sign the back page.
And filled out waiver
Yeah.
forms to waive the fee.
So it didn't cost us.
But it hasn't been approved.
Well, we haven't approved it. So the permit is waiting.
Sorry, I didn't realize.
Turn the lights out over there.
Yeah, DEP's already, that's what I'm saying, DEP sent us the paperwork to just put our signature on the bottom. So
So-
they've already approved it, just give me your signature, send me back an original.
That happened the last few days.
Last
Yesterday.
week.
Yesterday.
Okay, well, I was good that part.
Yeah, because we finally got it from Miss Blanche.
Do you know how long Fort White has had it?
I don't know anything about it. I haven't had time to go over and reach out to them and try to find out how their stuff is, but, or where they're at in their process. All right, let's see, what's got any more question? I'm gonna make a motion that we, move forward on this water process.
If Florida Rural Water is okay with this, I don't have a problem with it, but I want to talk to Sterling tomorrow and make sure he's okay with it before I vote yes.
All right?
Here's the email, I've already
You said that
spoken to
last,
them.
you said that last meeting too, so.
And I did talk to him, but what I'm seeing here is not the feedback that I got from him. That's the reason I want to talk to him.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna make a
Because it
motion.
was suggested that they come down here and have a meeting with us and go over it and explain it to us and bring the engineer. That was the word that I got, so I want to talk to him. And if he's, if they're
We
okay
have a
with it.
motion on the board, to table right now. We already asked if there's any more questions before I put the motion on the table.
And I took a tour of the water plants this past week, and I think we should do it, so I second that motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second, all in favor? Raise your hand, aye.
Could I hear the motion?
Oh.
The motion is to move forward on this water treatment process,
Okay, moving forward,
accepting it, making it happen, go through, complete it, make
To
it
get the
done.
filters and the pumps.
okay, and then, so what's the dollar number?
We went through the dollar numbers already.
I think they should be included in the motion.
Well, they were included in the conversation that we made the motion
The
on.
conversations, the motions are a bit different.
So the vote is accepted and passed. And if you want to see that, you're welcome to see it. It's in that package in front of your hands right there.
Yeah.
We've already went through it, but there's no reason for us to go through it again.
So was your vote in favor?
No, I would like to know what the number is.
It's in front of you right
And I
there.
want it included, I want it to be included in the motion.
The motion's already closed.
Okay.
So was your vote
I'm
for
gonna
or
vote no. If
against?
that's the motion, I'm gonna vote no.
Okay, so we
The
have
motion
Don
doesn't-
against
It
and
doesn't have the
Russell.
dollar
The
value.
only number that I see on here is $3,292.89. I don't
Okay,
see
so we
that.
have-
You go back to the page.
Oh, 13,000.
13,000.
So that's what it's gonna cost, is $13,318.11.
Plus the other
Plus
amount,
the other stuff to fix the problem that's blowing up the pumps.
which is.
Plus that, which is another $3,000 to $5,000 of stuff there we gotta have. And then a plumber's gonna be between $3,000 and $5,000, is the different ones we talked to. And it's based on how intense, what we have to do, because it all has to happen like that. We don't have time to sit there, take it down, break it down, and say, okay, we got a problem, and come back to the board, make a council meeting.
So it's
The water has to be
23,000?
back on the next day.
23,000?
23,000 is.
Okay, so
roughly that.
23,000. We have three. And what was yours, Russell? Yea or nay?
No, until I talk to Florida Rural Water.
Okay, then we go ahead with the motion. We have 3 for and 2 against.
Without the
Okay.
number.
We just give you the number.
We just gave the number. Moving on to new business. We're talking about our brush truck that we've been discussing getting rid of, and all agreed that it would be a good idea to get rid of. So Chiefland, the fire department, would like to purchase our truck for the total amount of $13,333.04, which would cover 2 years of service from them at the increased rate. The truck is valued between $12,000 and $15,000, so that's right in the middle at $13,333.04. So, and they would like to make a motion that we sell the truck to Chiefland Fire for $333.04.
I would like a legal opinion on that, because the city gave this truck to Chiefland one time, and the lawyer at that time made him go get it and bring it back.
What city
Um,
gave us this truck?
The town of Otter Creek
Yeah.
gave that fire truck to Chiefland. Brett Barris made him go get it and bring it back, because they couldn't do that. I would like a legal opinion on it. Where are we standing on an attorney?
Where's the paperwork?
Yeah,
From-
when did this
Yeah,
happen?
when this happened,
So we
what's
can go
the-
back and review what happened.
10 years ago.
Okay.
10 years ago.
Tom's-
Well, I need that paperwork to
Yeah.
review.
There's no record in here that we've seen.
It probably in them boxes out there.
Okay. So in the boxes that were supposed to be destroyed. So 10 years old. We can verify which city chief and what their legal stand is. If they're the ones that said, you're saying their attorney's the one that said we had to get it back? Or our attorney?
Our attorney. You should know, you was here when that
Why
happened.
did
I was not
he,
here.
Yeah,
why did he say return it? I mean,
That's what we wanna know.
I don't know, that's what I wanna know.
Well,
I wanna make sure this is illegal.
but did,
So
you
given
said-
it-
You said that you had the minutes from all your meetings. If you were
Yeah.
here, can you look back? Because
I wasn't here at that time. This was 10 years ago
Okay.
when they did that.
Then,
Yeah.
and you can't remember why he said to bring it back? Did we not do something properly? Did we not?
Right.
10 years ago, buddy, I can't remember
Maybe it has
what
something-
happened
That
yesterday.
has something to do with the fire department having their pump on it, or the forestry department, which that does go back to the forestry department in the trade. Chiefin doesn't want that. So
The
that's.
forestry wants it though, right?
Right, it's going back to the forestry department.
Let's try to get a legal opinion on it. Where are
Wow.
we at with an attorney?
Well, the last time you wanted to give it to the county,
No, the last one you said give it to the
should
county
have
of
brought
Bronson.
brought this point up then.
Right, you
Yeah,
said,
what difference does it make if we sell it for services that we don't have to come out of budget for 2 years versus just giving it away? What's the difference? Explain that to me from my figure.
The truck was bought from money that the county give us
For the fire
for the fire department,
That is correct, and that has been disbanded for 10 years.
somewhere about that,
But we,
about that
as,
neighborhood.
but we, as the town has been paying $500 a month for it to sit over there next door.
So at the
But
time
we
the
need to-
fire
So-
department disbanded, wouldn't you be legally required to have gotten rid of it then?
and not only that, anything,
Well,
any
that don't
kind
make
of
any
grant
sense
money
to
or
me.
funds come in, there's a 5-year statute on it. After 5 years old, after 5 years, you can do with as you need to do with. There's not something out there, and that's 10 years ago, that clearly surpasses the 5 years of it being granted over from one department to another.
And the attorney was present, Dan Fugate from Chiefland was present at the board when this was presented. He was for it.
Now, they have no, Chiefland has no problem with it legal-wise.
I feel that there's no legal issues on it.
Yeah.
And if it does pertain to one, then I guess we will look at it, spend the money to chase it down then, but there's no reason to spend money now on something that's clearly, obviously, that it's not a legal issue. I'll make a motion that we move the truck to Chiefland and cut out the fire bill, cut the fire payments down for 2 years for the town. That's gonna help the budget. We're trying to do the rollback. I mean, we got ability to cut $600 a month right there, $700 a month right there out of the bill.
No rate increase the following year, so for the next 2 years will be set.
I like the idea of doing that. However, I have to agree with Mr. Meeks in the sense that we should get a legal opinion.
Why can't,
And it's not like, it has to be done right away like everything
I
else.
can
So-
guarantee Mr. Fugit will be looking over the whole thing, because he is their lawyer, and he's not gonna allow them to sign paperwork that's illegal.
did
So
they
I
get-
can guarantee you, Mr. Fugit will be looking over the contract.
So did the town have a legal opinion done up when you bought the fire truck?
What's that?
When you bought the fire truck from the city of Otter Creek, did the town have a legal inquiry on it?
That was, that had been donated to them, to the city, and it was surplus equipment. You
Same as
were the,
this.
you were the spark plug behind that old deal, so you know exactly what happened.
I understand, but I was just trying to get you to point it out that it's the same process here as we're talking about there. There was no legal
No, that
opinion
was
needed then,
donated
so
to
it shouldn't be.
the county.
This was donated to the town too, from the county.
Okay, I see your
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to proceed forward with the fire truck to Chiefland in the amount of $13,333.04. Do I hear a second?
I second it.
Okay, I have a second on the floor. All in
Just-
favor?
It'll be paid in services for 2 years.
Right.
Okay.
That's the equivalent value there. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I
All
ain't gonna go with
opposed?
it till I talk to the attorney and make sure it's good that we do that.
Okay, we have 4 in favor and Russell Meeks is opposed. So we go forward. The next thing we have for our new business is replacing / repairing the air conditioning in Town Hall. So that we've had a Freon leak for quite a while. I know the last time when they moved the AC unit from the pad out back in February, they put Freon in it and it's still leaking. I don't know how long it's been leaking, but we're having a real problem keeping it cool in here. I know the last meeting it got up to 80 degrees and did it even cool down the next day? It was still, yeah, it's just malfunctioning, so that needs to be looked at.
I make the motion that we have the spawn or whoever does our work come out, evaluate it, if it needs to be fixed, fix it.
He did, and we actually called other companies.
Yeah, we have people coming out to give us quotes.
And we've called other companies, but the response from them is, the ones that I've spoke with, has said, we've been out here enough times to evaluate this system and nobody fixes it, and no one fixes the problem, they just patch it. They don't want to spend their time and efforts out here giving us an estimate on something that we're not going to spend money on. That was 2 of the responses I got back. Spain come out and looked at it and give us an estimate.
They're the ones that moved it, right?
Right. And his thing is that they've come out every 5 to 6 months and have put Freon in the system. And we've been doing that on and on, because the air handler upstairs is leaking, has a leak in it. We need
Freon or water?
The leak is Freon, and we need to replace that air handler up there. The only way we're going to ever fix the problem is to replace all. You can piecework it, but now you're still sitting here with an old system that's all pieced
What
together.
were the estimates on replacing the air handler?
It's about $9,000.
Pardon?
About $9,000.
To replace the air handler?
Right, replaces the air handler, it does the duct lines and the tie-ins and make sure there's no
What
leaks.
would a whole new system cost?
About $14,000, $15,000.
Well, we're getting quotes.
There's 2 other companies
That are coming out.
besides Span that are gonna come out that I spoke to today. So
Well, that's
within the
a little
next
bit
week.
premature for me to be making a motion.
Oh, no,
No,
we're
no,
just
we're-
statusing
Yeah.
what's going on, and that we're gonna collect 3 quotes, and then we'll come back when we have 3 quotes to let you know. I was keeping you,
I withdraw my motion.
yeah, I'm just keeping you guys informed of what's going on with the air conditioning, and that we're collecting the 3 quotes, and then we'll have a meeting to vote on that when we have all our information.
Excellent.
Just being upfront what's going on, that's all.
And then under announcements, I have talked to the other cities around us to see how they handle their meeting packets, to make sure we're doing this in the right fashion. They say, I'm giving it out way earlier than they do, so they gave me kudos. But the future meeting packets will be emailed to you all. And if any board member would like to come and pick them up, you're more than welcome to do so the Thursday before the meeting. But if you do come and pick it up, please bring it to the meeting with you, because I don't want to print out 2 copies. It's expensive with the ink and paper. We have no problem printing it out. You just have to come and pick it up. Just let us know that you'll be doing that. But we'll still email them too. So if you would like to read it and have your printed copies, just let us know. And we can go forward with doing it that way. Does anybody else have anything they would like to add?
Okay.
All right. Did anybody have any public comments? All right, if there, oh, you do?
I do. I want to say thank you all for going back over it again, the water. Water's really important. I appreciate it. And I'm sure other people
Yes.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. We
Water is
appreciate your
life.
support.
Water is life.
All right.
We have one.
Oh,
Everybody's got.
I just had a question with the selling of the truck. What is the plans for Richard for him working around town? Because I know, as everybody else knows, with the heat, it's been like 115 index. In the winter, it can get very, very cold here with the humidity and all that. So I just want to know what's the plans on potentially providing him a vehicle so he doesn't have to use his personal vehicle to work around the town.
Well, we have been discussing a golf cart and utility vehicle and asking Richard for his input on that. Nobody's really come up with anything solid yet.
Would it potentially be like an enclosed with a climate control, or looking at more of a open air type? Or it's just kind of all still up in the works?
Yeah, it's
It's
still
still up in
really
the
all
works.
up in the air.
There's some utility
Okay.
trucks.
I was just wondering because I know that would have been a perfect vehicle for him, but I understand too, that's a lot of money that could bring into
Yeah.
the town.
And the
so.
size of that truck and
Yeah, it's
everything,
too
because it's a
big.
2500 and it's
Yeah.
kind of cumbersome. And,
Yeah, I understand. I just
But yeah, we
was just
definitely.
wondering about that because I know it had been brought up in the past about possibly him using that truck. So I was just wondering what the update may have been with that.
Nothing
Yeah.
solid yet.
We had
Okay.
asked his opinion, and he said he would prefer to keep his small truck.
Okay.
That's why we're still in the process.
Well, if he's going to prefer to use his own truck, would the town be willing to potentially pay him like a per diem style thing on that?
I think mileage would be appropriate. A decent mileage rate for it. I mean, how many miles can you put on your town in a day?
It's
But
1.3 square miles in town.
yeah. But it drives around through, a couple times a day for different sections. I can see it being 5 to 10 miles a day.
The state standard is 57 cents a mile.
Right.
Yeah, that's definitely something
But
to
this is, yeah.
look at.
Yeah.
All right, Ellie?
This is a pretty small space, so I don't know if any of the AC contractors would recommend a mini split system or two, because I think they're a lot more affordable than a.
A mini
Mini
split.
split.
A mini split is about $6,000 to $8,000, but that's all in one. It's all new. Everything
Okay.
about it's new. I don't know that it would work in this big of a space.
I know we had
especially
one
with the
installed for
bathroom
like
and all.
2,000, so
Hmm?
we had one installed for around 2,000, so.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, the new construction, the ones we built, I built, the AC companies are coming in between 6 and 8 on those. That's the outside tanning unit, the wall, the mounts on the wall, one in every room. But this would be, it would take 2 wall units in this room. You have to have one for the office, probably one for the bathroom, and the kitchen would just sweat.
Yeah,
Or
so
freeze.
There's a definite temperature change
Yeah.
when you go through that door.
But this building's not insulated. There's no
No.
insulation in the ceiling at all. There's no insulation in the walls. There's absolutely no insulation. So in the long term, it is something that we need to look at, address about the building itself, its conditions. As we get through everything else and everybody's happy with water, and everybody's happy with what's going on in administration and everything, then we can look at further development.
Did you have something? All right, anybody else? All right, well, if there's nothing else, meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. I appreciate all your comments.